Hi, I'm Tim Dayton. I'm the Executive Director of REACH, although you probably know this because I'm sending it out in particular to our REACH friends, partners, and volunteers. I want to welcome you to another day of mystery and adventure in this topsy-turvy world in which we live. I'm presently in my backyard. I'm in front of my chicken coop. You may hear chickens at some point, and some kids have been playing further down the street, so you may hear them laughing off in the distance. It's an absolutely beautiful day. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you know who I am and you know all about REACH. And so that's good. What I'm doing here today is I'd like to take time or take a moment to tell you or share with you three things. Number one, I'd like to let you know how I'm doing. I know a lot of you have been concerned and are wondering and would like to kind of catch up on how I'm doing. Number two, I'd like to speak to you about the coronavirus, the pandemic that's overtaken all of our lives for the last 9 months. And very directly, for some of you, caused you not to be able to come on a service or mission trip, or if you're one of our partners, we failed to be able to help you the way that we had hoped, and for that I apologize. And then number three, I'd like to talk about where do we go from here, and how do we reestablish who we are as a people who care and believe that serving in the community brings us a certain peace, joy, and happiness in this world, and that serving together is a great way to bring folks together. I hope you'll stay tuned for a few more minutes as I share with you my thoughts and plans for the future. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump right into how I'm feeling and a little bit of information about what the doctors are saying about my diagnosis. First off, I feel fantastic. I've not felt this good since December of last year. I've got my appetite back. I'm gaining weight. My energy levels are higher than they've been in months. I'm able to concentrate on the computer. At least I feel like I am. I've been working outside. I've been taking longer walks, and I'm even thinking about starting running again. If I didn't know any better, I would think there wasn't anything wrong with me, or that I had any health issues whatsoever. That said, there's my doctors. My doctors would tend to disagree with my prognosis. Most of you know that I've lost 50 pounds. I've been through 2 surgeries, 3 months of chemo, all in order to reduce my pancreatic cancer. The operations, although ultimately helpful, weren't really successful. The chemo had similar outcomes. The cancer is still there. In fact, it's metastasized and spread throughout my intestines to the point that any future surgeries have been taken off the table. I've been told that neither the chemo or radiation would be of any significance in changing that outcome. So at that point, I had to ask the doctors, what exactly does that mean? And they told me, and this was about 2 months ago, they told me at that point that I could expect to live from 2 to 6 more months. And that I should spend most of my time or energy with treatments on quality of life. In the meantime, I've been referred to and accepted by hospice, and for those of you unfamiliar with hospice, you can't even get into the hospice program unless you have a doctor that will certify that you have less than 6 months to live. So what I did in the last couple months is I got connected with a functional doctor because I certainly haven't given up. It's just that there were no conventional means for which me to continue to get services. And so my functional doctor has helped me to add several supplements, including I take massive doses of vitamin C twice a week through an IV. We do these in order to suspend the growth of the cancer and perhaps even begin to destroy it. Generally speaking, what I'm trying to do is to encourage my body to heal itself and to empower my own immune system. I'm also on a special diet. This is also to help encourage my immune system to do what its job. It's called the keto diet. In layman terms, and that's about the only way I understand it, I'm trying to starve my cancer while building up my body in the meantime. In practical terms, I can eat a lot of fat and a lot of bacon and a lot of meats, but I have to stay away from anything that contains sugar or carbs. And then for good measure, and I'm not really sure why, I'm not allowed to do any dairy products. I'm sure there's a reason for it. So I've been taken off of most of the things I eat. So I like to say it's eliminated my 3 basic food groups, Cici's Pizza, Burger King, and Dairy Queen ice cream. But oh well, like I said before, I feel great. So mostly what this diet does is makes it impossible for any of you to cook for me. It would be just way too hard with all the things that I can't have and that I do need to have. But not to worry, Bonnie is very creative and she's an excellent cook. Bottom line though is that I feel great. So clearly it's doing something. Although there is no virtual way, I'm told, that I can figure out what it's doing, unless perhaps I can get a CT scan again sometime in the future to see if it's affected the growth of the cancer. But getting back to my prognosis by the doctors, I want you to know that I have the utmost respect for their opinions and their experiences, and I still meet with them on a regular basis. It's just that I no longer look at my time as they do, as being limited by my disease. I fully expect to be here and healthy for way longer than the 2 to 6 months. Although I will continue to value the lessons I've learned and honor the short-term priorities I've set while thinking that my time here was limited. I think it's time for me to get back to dreaming and scheming for our futures together. The world still needs us. In other words, it's time to get back to work. Well, that brings me to our second topic, the coronavirus, or the COVID-19 pandemic, as it's called. A pandemic that has been responsible for close to 250,000 deaths and continues to spread at an uncontrollable rate. I want to highlight 6 things about COVID. Number 1, it is real. Number 2, it affects all of our lives in ways we wish that it did not. Number 3, it spreads mainly from person to person, typically through the respiratory system, through droplets from coughing, sneezing, or talking. Number 4, meeting indoors in poorly ventilated areas is highly conducive to the spread of COVID. Number 5, it's spreading or spiking throughout the nation, in particular in Virginia and in the southwest region from where we live. And number 6, the risk of severe illness is highest in older adults, especially those with other risk factors. People like me and people like a lot of you. But there is good news. There are 3 things that all of us can do to protect ourselves and those we love. Number 1, social distancing, trying to remain 6 feet apart from each other. Number 2, washing your hands frequently. And number 3, for some reason the most controversial, is wearing a face mask whenever you're out in public. And of very special significance, several vaccines are slated to be available as early as January of this coming year. This is November, so that's only a couple months away. Now we get to the third topic. To me, maybe the most important because it looks toward the future. So the question becomes, how does all this affect REACH and our mission to restore hope through the joy of serving? What does that look like for us, and what does that look like for you? Well, first off, please know that REACH and I are alive and well, and we're looking forward to 2021. My illness did help me to realize that I won't live forever. I will be stepping down from the day-to-day director's role in order to allow REACH to grow. I plan on remaining closely involved as a volunteer, an advocate, and hanging out with all of my old friends. I will still be ever present. It's just time for new eyes and new ears to get involved. And quite honestly, I enjoy the serving part so much that, and meeting and talking to you all, that I'll get to spend much more time doing that. So how's Reach? So Reach, we've weathered the pandemic actually very well. We did slow down our volunteer hours to barely a trickle over the summer and through the fall, but we've made good progress on all of our projects. We've had several small groups of local volunteers where we learned and practiced COVID rules and procedures, and they were 100% effective, so we feel very confident about being able to handle COVID. And as we move forward, we expect a much greater availability of testing, and then the vaccine or vaccines we hope will be available as early as January. So putting that together with our COVID protocols, we'll be running our service trips starting in March and continuing through the summer and beyond. So if you've got a group that wants to come this summer, we'll be here. If you've got groups want to come over a weekend, or you've just got adults that want to come. And again, for our partners, we'll start calling you to let you know that we have volunteers coming into town. Now, I do expect that groups are going to be very anxious to get back out, because if you're like me, or you're like most of the people I know, you're just chomping at the bit and dying to get back out there. And I think that you've probably begun to notice the needs that are out in the community and the need to restore hope and to get people back involved and back reconnected. So don't wait long to begin to claim your spots. As always, I thank you for your support to me personally through my battle, although it's just through my adventure, I guess. And thanks for all you've done. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for those groups that managed to come in smaller numbers and practice our COVID techniques with us and help us to develop those. And I mean, just thanks for all that. I'd like to talk to you all about where do we go from here and how do we reestablish who we are as a people who care and believe that serving each other is a way to peace, joy, and happiness in this world. Reach is a great way for those of us with different ideas, different outlooks, different lifestyles to come together and discover how in truth we are very much alike and that we do care for one another. I hope to hear from all of you soon. Be safe, be smart. This too will pass. I love you all. I miss you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.